My testimony starts in Belfast, where I grew up with my mum, dad, and my big sister, Catherine. We were part of a traditional church, a Church of Ireland church, and I went to Sunday school each week. From a young age, I knew that Sundays were for church, and Sunday school taught me a lot of the Bible stories that we commonly learn about, but I knew nothing about the Holy Spirit or what it was like to live an active Christian life. Instead, it was full of liturgy and quite somber organ hymn music. I wasn't aware of what it looked like to have a relationship with God, or really know that God could affect your life in the week and not just on Sundays. After a year of Sunday school, I was old enough to go with the youth group at our church to a summer Christian festival called Summer Madness. Although there was no one my age at that church, or at my church, there were people a few years older, and as my sister was also going along, it made it easier for me to join in. This was when I first saw what true heartfelt worship could feel like. Having worship led by a small Irish folk band called Wren Collective, which is much more well-known now. And I started to learn about what it meant to be a Christian, that it was about loving God and dedicating your whole life to Him and living out this love each and every day. Over the next 5 summers, I relished the time I got at Summer Madness, and this kept me exploring the Bible in my home church throughout the year. On the 5th summer, I remember clearly the moment I first felt the Holy Spirit in a true answer of prayer. It was the last night, and I sat on a bench in the main tent, worried about what life would be like after leaving the fun and enjoyment and passion of Summer Madness, and what the next few months of my summer holidays would be like. I simply prayed, God, I don't want to be alone anymore. I want you to be with me from this moment on for my whole life. God, show me that you aren't going to leave me. And at that moment, a huge gust of wind came in through the sides of the tent, and the marquee blew in. And I knew it was God saying He was with me. From then on, if I have had any worries or doubts, I try to remember back to the beginning of my faith and be reminded that God is with me and He will not leave me on my own. Over the next years of my life, I have developed in my faith hugely, and God has blessed me. That summer, my sister returned from university and took me and my mum to a vineyard church in the north coast of Northern Ireland, near to where we have a holiday home. It's a church in Coleraine where God is truly using the church to move in their community, and they are seeing huge numbers of people come to faith in their local area. I felt the Holy Spirit and felt spiritually and theologically fed by the sermons and worship from just a normal Sunday service. I started to see what church could really be like, and really encouraged me to continue to enjoy church. I then joined and later led my school CU, and I led its kids camps where I was able to deepen my faith further. Excitingly, as my faith grew, so did my mum's, albeit a slower journey, but her discovery of the Holy Spirit was also very evident and exciting to see at an older age. We were able to take a trip to Kenya with 3 other people from my church the summer prior to university, and we both were struck by a huge calling for the people of Africa and challenged by the joy and generosity of people that seemingly have so little, but who are so full of God's love that they just feel like they have to share it with everyone they meet. This was the start of something much bigger for the both of us. I then went off to uni and was part of a church that really invested in me and the gifts of the Holy Spirit. I developed skills of prayer and prophecy and was supported in great discipleship by women in the church. These were relationships that I had never felt before, and having grown up with very little Christian role models around me or peers at my age. I met Tom, my husband now, at university after he struck up a conversation about a passion for Africa, as he had just been to Tanzania with a group from All Saints, and we got married 3 years later. Amazingly, we got married in my home church, the still very traditional church, but with the selection of Tom's friends from All Saints Ecclesall as a band to lead worship. We had a service that was for the the first of its style in my home church, but welcomed by our minister, and we had bold and beautiful worship at our wedding, and a moment of true connection with God. We were able to have an overwhelming sense of God's love and spirit in that church building, and reminded us once again that God is with us and can be with us anywhere. I have to say, sadly, since moving to Sheffield after getting married nearly 3 years ago, life has definitely been harder. I went through really hard times of grief, depression, and loneliness, and felt completely isolated from friends and family. I had also lost that support network of the church that I now realize was so important. But as I said earlier, in those times I go back to that first moment of truly knowing God in my life, reminding myself of the miracles and endless times he has amazed me, and remind myself that even if you don't realize it immediately, God is still with you, and I should never feel alone. I'm glad to say since joining St. Gabriel's about 6 months ago, I'm excited and refreshed for what is to come, and continue to build those relationships that support my faith. I also look ahead positively and excitingly as me and Tom prepare for a huge adventure to move to Uganda in January to continue the calling of work and support to the people of Africa in our lives. Thank you.